Welcome back everybody, and today we're taking a look at another new 4K limited edition release from Arrow Video, and it is 1991's Once a Thief. So this is once again another film directed by John Woo. This is one of several that have been released by Arrow Video as of late, and more recently we talked about Bullet in the Head. And yeah, this is an heist action comedy that clocks in at 108 minutes long. There are no alternative versions on this release, so that's the only length you're going to be dealing with. And yeah, stars the likes of Chow Yun-fat, who's obviously worked with John Woo multiple times before, with the likes of Hard Boiled, The Killer, and A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2. You've also got Leslie Chung, and now he's also worked alongside John Woo in A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2, but he was also in A Chinese Ghost Story 1 and 2 as well. So this is actually the first film of him from him that I've seen that isn't part of a series. And finally, you got Sherry Chung, who was also in Peking Opera Blues, which is another 4K release from Arrow Video that we looked at way back in February. So a debonair trio of international art thieves who grew up as orphaned artful dodgers on the streets of Hong Kong are fresh from a successful heist in the sunny French Riviera, and then set their sights on one last job: break into a heavily guarded fortress and steal a painting so valuable that it is said to be cursed, as whoever apparently steals it gets a death curse put there on them. But when they're double crossed by their former criminal mentor, villainous triad leader Mr. Chow, the gang must use their wits, skills, and unbreakable friendship to take him down. So I am fully aware that John Woo has done several comedic films before. I believe he did them in between his mid-70s martial arts films and the likes of the Better Tomorrow films and such. So, yeah, this is by no means his first effort in that genre, but it is nonetheless the first film from him that I have seen that would be considered a comedy. And although that aspect doesn't always work, there is nonetheless enough of that aspect here to help it be entertaining. The cast is also great, especially the three leads. They got really rather solid chemistry between one another, and you can genuinely believe that they have been friends for a good long while. The pacing is also on point. The score is overall solid, even if part of it is, quite frankly, nicked from this film To Live and Die in LA. So it's the part that starts off the song City of the Angels. Um, and it's just so blatant that even my phone picked up that I'd heard that, which, you know, obviously I hadn't recently watched To Live and Die in LA, so there's no reason for that to have been picked up. So yeah, even my phone realised that they were nicking a score, part of a score from another film. It is all well shot, and though not as numerous or as lengthy as other Wu efforts, the action scenes are still excellent. Um, yeah, they are a little bit more confined though to the beginning and end of the film. There's not really much action at all in the middle section of the film, and that is where I'd say the film is ultimately the weakest. Um, but the middle and the beginning and the end are quite frankly excellent as far as the action goes, and yeah, overall it is a solid effort, but it's probably my least favorite of the John Woo films that have been given a 4K release as of late, as it gets a 4 out of 5. So not quite as massively impressive as Bullet in the Head, and neither is it as going to be as much of a classic as The Killer or Hard Boiled, but still it is overall a decent effort. And yeah, another one of the three films that John Woo released in between Hard Boiled and The Killer, that we've now seen. As obviously we've also seen Bullet in the Head, and now we just have Just Heroes, I think it's called. So yeah, hopefully that gets a release at some point as well in the future. But nonetheless, this is a fairly solid film, and one that I am glad I have now finally seen. So that is the disc itself with the new artwork, which has been commissioned by Sam Hadley. We do also have the, well, I believe is more along the lines of the original artwork on the reverse. And we also get a booklet with this release as well, again with that new artwork. And then a shot from the film as well with Chow Yun-fat. And then inside the booklet, you get your cast and your crew, then you get the art of the heist by Priscilla Page, about the presentation, and then production credits and special thanks. The heist scenes are also fairly solid as well, but by no means the best that I've seen. We also get shots from the film as well. So there's a fairly spectacular explosion with a car there during a particular action scene. That's more towards the beginning of the film. And then about the presentation as well. So Once a Thief is presented in its original 185:1 aspect ratio with Cantonese and English mono audio. The film has been restored in 4K resolution and graded in HDR10 and Dolby Vision. The original 35mm camera negative was sourced from the Hong Kong Film Archive and scanned in 4K by Interface Video Production Limited in Hong Kong, and film restoration was done by Duplicitech. So, yeah, there are a couple of audio options on this. There are alternative English soundtracks as well for this. I went for the original one, and it's a little bit bad in areas, I guess you could say, especially when it comes to the child voices that are in this. So we do have some flashbacks to their childhood when they were growing up. So yeah, those aspects aren't great, but the audio itself is generally really rather great, and the visual, the way that the film looks in 4K as well, is excellent. We also have new audio commentary with Asian cinema expert James Mudge, handling a heist, a brand new interview with director John Woo, heists and lows, a brand new interview with producer Terence Chang, thoughts about thievery, a brand new interview with co-writer Clifton Coe, stealing some shots, a brand new interview with director of photography Poon Hang Sang, art of the steal, a brand new interview with editor David Wu, Hong Kong Confidential, a brand new appreciation by author and film historian Grady Hendrix, Once a Star, Always an Icon, a brand new appreciation of star Leslie Chung by Hong Kong cinema expert Frank Yang, Up Close and Personal, an archival interview with John Woo, Brothers in Arms, an archival interview with Terence Chang, archival interview with actor Kenneth Sang, original theatrical trailer, the new artwork that I've shown you already, and obviously English subtitles for the deaf and hard of hearing for the English soundtrack, and English subtitles for the Cantonese soundtrack as well. So yeah, a fairly comprehensive list of extras there for an overall good film, but don't go into this expecting the classic that Bullet in the Head is, or Hard Boiled, or The Killer, because they are quite frankly much better films. But still, for a film that I've not seen, for a genre that I've not seen John Woo handle before in terms of comedy, I was expecting far worse, to be honest, considering I've not seen any of his previous comedic films, so I had no idea how he'd handle that kind of genre. And although it's not overly consistent, there are still nonetheless some funny scenes in this, especially during the end when Chow Yun-fat is embracing his inner Jackie Chan, because there's a really rather fun action scene towards the end where, yeah, I get the feeling that Jackie Chan would have not only fitted that scene himself, but perhaps elevated it slightly more. But yeah, definitely felt that kind of thing that Jackie Chan would have done in the 90s as well. But overall, it still has its own identity, and yeah, still well worth seeing. Nonetheless, though, if you have seen Once a Thief before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.